this episode of Travelogue, we continue our trip around Nanjing. We gatecrash the birthday party of a sea goddess, discover the life of a Ming Dynasty courtesan, and watch a spectacular performance on water. So come and experience life at the heart of the southern capital.
Down there is the Yangtze River, the longest river in all of Asia. Since ancient times, it separated China into north and south, but it's also been a source of life. For Nanjing, the Yangtze is its mother river, and in this episode, we'll see how life along its banks and its tributaries has flourished. I'm Turan, welcome to Travelogue, and welcome to our Jiangsu series.
In case you didn't know, the reason Nanjing is called the southern capital is because of its location south of the Yangtze. This bridge has been something of a symbol of Nanjing. It was finished in the late 60s, significantly without any outside help. Its completion meant that finally the two sides of the Yangtze would join here on its lower reaches. It also symbolises China's ability to master the Yangtze, and today it's still a convenient way to get across town.
Right, so that is the Yuejiang Tower, and it's actually got quite a funny story behind it. About 600 years ago, during the Ming Dynasty, the first emperor unified China, and he wrote a story about how he did that, but he also wrote about how he wanted to build a tower to symbolize the fact that he unified China. But he actually ran out of time, he didn't get around to doing that, so the tower that you see there is all new. It was built in 2001.
The Chinese love writing poems about the Yangtze, and I'd wager you could probably find at least a couple hundred if you look online. Yuejiang literally translates as enjoying the river. I guess it's a shame the tower wasn't completed in the Ming Dynasty, but still, today, you don't have to be an emperor to climb to the top and enjoy the breathtaking views over Nanjing and the Yangtze River Delta.
Great view, hey. I can totally imagine what the emperor must have felt if this tower had been built in time to see the Yangtze River out in front of him and this kind of bustling port. It really gives you the feeling like you've dominated China and now are controlling the Yangtze River. It's pretty incredible.
Back in town, there's quite a commotion. It seems everyone's here to celebrate the birthday of the sea goddess Mazu, the patron deity of fishermen and sailors. This is a recreation of Admiral Zhenghe setting sail with his fleet. He was China's most famous mariner, and there are claims that he even sailed around the world almost 100 years before Columbus.
咱们今天什么活动？庙会。庙会。骂子是吧？为什么？1551年。Oh, so apparently what he said is that there's some kind of special celebration for sea goddess Mazu. So if you watch a lot of Travelogue, I think you've probably seen sea goddess Mazu already. But what we saw earlier was they had a kind of a recreation of Zhenghe going out to sea. So today's seeming out to be pretty interesting. So I don't know whether they had mules like this back in the day, but you know, I think she's having a lot of fun. 这个，后面没人了是吧？就连自己。
I wonder if this many people turned up for Zhenghe's actual leaving thing. The sea goddess Mazu is usually worshipped in coastal areas, so it's a bit strange to see her being so venerated here in Nanjing. But take one look at all the ships on the Yangtze and you'll understand the reason. The Yangtze is an incredibly powerful and daunting river, but at the same time it's a key transport link and it nurtures countless lives along its banks. It's also quite beautiful at sunset.
Do you know what? The Yangtze is quite an interesting thing. It's such a powerful river, but now that I'm walking across this bank, I've got the sun going down over there, the ferries going back home in the background, and I've got couples walking up and down this place. It's such a romantic place, and you really feel like it's at the centre of the city.
Coming up next, I head to Nanjing's Confucius Temple district, where I face my exam phobia and then get an intimate view inside the former home of Nanjing's most famous courtesan. The Qinghai River is a tributary of the Yangtze that flows into the heart of Nanjing. In much the same way, I'm going to follow this tributary to see how it's changed the everyday lives of people here.
Oh man, what an amazing view of the Qinghai River. It's actually the reason I chose this hotel in the first place. Plus it's got amazing facilities. Come, let me show you my room. Ah, I see you've already found my room. It's my king-size bed, very comfortable. That's my jacuzzi, very nice as well. And I've got a view of the Qinghai River outside. That room that you saw was 2,500 yuan a night.
Enough dreaming about hotels. This is the Confucius Temple district, Nanjing's most happening place. Naturally, the Qinghai River flows through here as well.
Life used to flourish along the Qinghai River, especially near this part, near the Confucius Temple. And back then, it was one of the liveliest parts of Nanjing, and as you can see, probably still is. Most people come here to buy some street food, get some nice tourist souvenirs, and if it's your thing, do a bit of people watching.
It's easy to see why this place is such a hit with locals and tourists. But a big reason of why it originally became popular was because the Imperial Examination Center was located here. In the Ming and Qing dynasties, people from all over Jiangsu would come here to sit the imperial exam. It was a grueling test, but anyone who passed was likely to land a potentially cushy job in the imperial government. The problem was, the pass rate was only 1%. Talk about pressure.
Can you imagine being stuck in a place like this for 72 hours? Because this is what people used to do to have exams. Be stuck in a little tiny cell, yay big, and have to go through 3 days, 3 nights of exams, writing essays about things. And all sorts of people used to come here because not only was it an exam, it was a way to kind of get up in life. Peasants would come here, and if they passed the exam, if they achieved it with flying colours, they'd become, people within the imperial court. So it was a way to completely change your life.
Anyone could take the exam, and applicants ranged from the young to the old, to those who had no chance of passing but tried anyway. Some were even driven crazy.
Man, I can't imagine being stuck here for 9 days. Had enough trouble just doing my GCSEs. But if you do, well, back in the days, if you managed to pass this trial, you'd actually have the chance of becoming one of the highest officials in the imperial court. So for a lot of people, it was worth the 9 days of hell. I don't think I can do this, though.
Right, I won't be doing that again anytime soon. You may be interested to know that at its height, the test centre could hold up to 20,000 examinees. Naturally, with so many potential recruits flocking here, all sorts of businesses sprang up to cater to their needs. These range from food to entertainment to other.
Oh, very impressive. This was the home of a very famous courtesan who ended up getting married to a high-class official, a high-ranking official, and her name was Li Xiaojun. She was considered one of the 8 beauties of Nanjing, and it was her skill in the arts and also her skill of feminine attraction that won her a lot of attention from very important people.
The ladies here were highly respected and very talented, but for many of these courtesans, life was bittersweet. They'd give up everything they had for the man they loved, and back in the 18th century, Li Xiangjun's story was even adapted into a play called The Peach Blossom Fan.
This is where Li Xiangjun would entertain her high-level guests and friends, many of whom came directly from the imperial exam room. And she was a very skilled courtesan. She'd entertain her guests with her lute and tin skills. And here, I think, right, here she'd play chess and recite poetry. And this one is the, well, it's a master bedroom. I don't really need to describe anything in detail, but it's very interesting, a very intimate look into the life of a courtesan. Maybe you can imagine back in the imperial days that pleasure boats would have drifted down the Qinghai River, and Li Xiangjun might have sat in my very spot playing her lute and singing songs that would have drifted through the summer air.
As is often the case, today the Confucius Temple area has largely been taken over by souvenir stands. Even so, it's still a pleasure to walk through these nostalgia-filled alleys. You might even be tempted to check out what's on offer. Back in the days of the imperial exams, aspiring romantics would try to woo their favourite courtesans by sending them interesting gifts or delicious snacks. It's only natural the snack shops around here have become famous. I don't have time to visit the stalls one by one, so I'm heading to a restaurant where I can sample them all in one go.
Right, so I was recommended this restaurant to come and try all of the street food in this area, and so we've got some stuff here. I've got fruits over there. This is some kind of egg substance. Got meat, and oh, that is a tea-boiled egg which I've had before, and it tastes really good. And this is cow stomach, and this is chicken stomach, which is now going into mine. It's really good.
当然想给你放个小吃。
Oh, so we've still got some more. But this is pretty cool. It's like it's kind of like Chinese tapas.
Coming up next, we get hands-on with some arts and crafts from the imperial days and take a pleasure boat down the Qinghai River for a spectacular performance on water. The Confucius Temple district is a major hit with tourists. It's also a favourite with the locals, but the place most of them go to won't be listed in any guidebooks. My advice is, head on to the side streets and keep your eyes and ears peeled for clues.
This place is such a feast for the senses. You've got birds kind of chirping everywhere. You've got loads of maggots kind of writhing about. But it's so close to the Confucius area. It's actually a really great place to go to. And never thought I'd actually find such a lively market here.
People here sure have interesting hobbies. You can find all sorts of weird and wonderful creatures to play with or admire from a distance.
I think that's a cricket. That's so cool. 这个怎么卖啊？30块钱。这个小的是什么？ Oh, look at this. Oh, man. They're alive. Lots of maggots everywhere. Whoa. Oh, this is so cool. Man, a lot of cool stuff to find in this market. Right, so I had a load of fun, but time to go to another part of town.
I fancy a bit of culture after all that mucking about, so I'm heading to the former residence of Ganxi, a famous opera singer. The place has more than 300 rooms and is now home to the Nanjing Folklore Museum. Inside, it feels almost like you've been transported back to the Qing dynasty.
I think I've got the gist of this museum. I think it's kind of like a gallery of what life was like back in ancient China. So I'm guessing this guy, he would probably sell yogurt or something like that. And this lovely lady here would... Right, so she's a lovely flower peddler, as it seems. But no, this is really cool.
Talking statues aside, the museum's exhibits give you an interesting look at what life was like back in the Qing dynasty. And if you tire of looking at clay models of peddlers, the real thing's just around the corner.
Hey, 您这做的是什么东西？
火花灯。
火花灯。那您是就从小就开始学怎么？
哎，对，祖传的。
祖传的。
哎，对对。
已经传了多久了呀？
那我100多年历史了。
您自己的家里已经有。
第4代，我已经60岁，67岁。
这能飘到河上吗？就是放到河里。
这个花灯呢有多种用途，一个可以提到走，一个可以挂到走，还可以放到河里边。
Next door, I was fascinated by this gentleman with his zen-like expression. He says he's painting calabashes, otherwise known as bottle gourds. China has a long history of using gourds in art. In fact, they were used for drawing on even before paper was invented.
这个跟在纸和布上画画道理是一样的。它的难点呢，就是它不吸水、不吸闷，同时是个球形。这样呢，就是说线条要把握好。对。这个用水呢不要太多。哎，你可以来试一试。
Okay. My hand's not the steadiest in the world. It's pretty fun. It's very difficult because, I mean, I did a bit of art when I was younger, and I thought I was alright, but that was drawing with a pencil on paper, and on this one I seem to be quite crap, so it does require a lot of skill and patience.
Painting on a calabash really isn't easy, since the strange shape tends to mess up your proportions.
I finished. It looks absolutely nothing like me, but there you go.
If you've also lost your confidence in your artistic ability, don't fret. In the adjacent rooms, you can find many talented craftsmen showing off the skills they and their ancestors have perfected.
It's like a massive yo-yo. Wow. He's doing the UFO. Let's walk the dog. That is awesome, man.
分的速度，这个速度，响了，那响了，慢点，慢点。
That's pretty cool. I want to give it a try later. 哎，我可以试试吗？这个？可以。这是怎么玩这个？
这个呢，看好了，摆在上面。
哎呦，这是
给它一个交叉。往右边一滚，右手重，左手轻，哎对，右手动，哎左手不要动，哎好，
左手不要动，
哎对，那就响了。
我听着什么东西都没响，只是这个绳子在响的。这样子可以
两手自然分
抬起来，
哎慢慢的，慢一点。你看你的绳子在里头跳，
哎，不能跳，
行流水一样。
The banks of the Qinghai River around the Confucius Temple area are lined with beautiful lanterns all year round, so taking a boat out is the perfect way to enjoy your evening.
This is such an amazing place. It's summer now, so it's quite hot, but sitting at the head of the boat with this kind of gentle summer breeze blowing against me, and you can hear opera in the background. And you're flowing through this really gorgeous canal-like river. It's such a great feeling, man. It's so good here.
Centuries ago, important officials sailed along the Qinghai River in their pleasure boats. Although some things have changed, nowadays life along the Qinghai's banks is just as exciting as it always was, if not more so.
Let's get a load of that. Bloody hell. This is extravagant living.
These performances are held nightly, but I would suggest checking in advance the price and availability of tickets, since seating is limited.
it's fascinating to see how the Qinghai River has changed over time. I mean, even before, it was at the heart of Nanjing. But now, when you just walk through this area, you see everyone congregated around the river, buying snacks, taking their loved ones, going around with their kids, really enjoying this kind of atmosphere. And now that we're sitting on this boat, I've got these decorated bridges passing overhead. I can feel the summer breeze on my face, and there was music playing in the air earlier. You can really feel that this river is at the heart and soul of Nanjing. I'm Taran, and I'll see you very soon on another episode of Travelogue.